Hello and welcome to the eastern edge of Bulgaria, right on the Black Sea coast. I'm David Eads. I've come for the launch of what would be a first in aviation history, the test flight of an unmanned aerial cargo plane. It's a drone to you and me, but it's a drone with the potential to transform the transport of goods. Anything you like, from fresh fish through to vital medicines, and it could do it the world over. And this is the drone, the Dronamics Black Swan aircraft, remotely piloted, capable of carrying a load of up to 350 kilos, some 2,500 kilometres. So that is a shipment from, let's say, London to Athens, from Austin in Texas right up to New York State. Those are the sorts of distances that can be covered. The Dronamics mission statement is same-day delivery for everyone, everywhere. In principle, perfect. In practice, well, let's face it, this aircraft has never taken off. This is a genuine test flight, the first opportunity after nearly a decade of conceiving the idea, designing it and building it, to put it to the test. What we're seeing now is the aircraft after it's been wheeled out of the hangar. It's already been through goodness knows how many final checks, but the team here have been weighing the aircraft again, checking the avionics, the rudders, the landing gear, of course, making sure all the radio frequencies are working. They are utterly focused on what is, frankly, the biggest day of their aviation career, probably for many of them. It's been wheeled out now onto the apron of the runway. We await the starting up of the engine. That's the point of no return, if you like. So as we wait, let me just take you into the ground control station. So this is effectively, it's a cockpit. It's a remote cockpit, of course, but this is where the pilot and co-pilot are positioned, ready to fly these planes. I should point out, these are highly experienced aviation experts. They are commercial pilots, as used to flying a Boeing or Airbus as any drone. So they've had thousands of air miles under their belt. As I said already, the Dronamics Black Swan has not yet had a single mile in the air, and that is the challenge. The aircraft will now taxi towards the top of the runway. It needs around about 400 meters. I say of runway, it doesn't have to be runway. In fact, it can be pavement, it could be road, it can take off and land on all sorts of surfaces. But that's the sort of distance it needs before heading off over the Black Sea. As it prepares to position itself, let me just tell you a little bit more about how all this came to be, because it is the brainchild of two brothers, Bulgarian brothers, the Rangelovs, that's Konstantin and Svilin. Svilin being an economist, Konstantin an aerospace engineer. And the whole thinking behind it came from Konstantin's desire to get a shipment of his favourite cheese from Sofia to university in the Netherlands. Svilin said, look, you find a way to do it that is logistically sensible, and we'll do it. Here we are, nearly a decade later. This is the answer. It's Konstantin's vision and concept of the plane itself. It's Svilin's notion of how to make logistics work in an economic environment. And this is the proving point. So the brothers have also decided that today could be a moment of history. They've been sitting there for 8 years now. They made a vow that only once a test flight had taken place could they remove the beard. And so in maybe an hour or two, we'll see a couple of fresh-faced brothers celebrating, we hope, what is not just an exciting moment for them, I'm sure a very apprehensive one as well. The Black Swan then has been taxiing up into position. It is now in line on the runway on this vast Baltic military aerodrome, which rather dwarfs the aircraft itself. 16-meter wingspan disappears on an aerodrome this big, but what a vista as it's about to head off into the, we hope, blue skies, slightly blustery conditions here as well, as you would expect on the edge of the Black Sea coast. The flight director is checking for one last time. The team are also monitoring wind speed, the readiness to take off, and we are awaiting the signal to go from the test flight director. So the signal is given. The Black Swan is on its way. It's accelerating now down the runway. It needs to reach a speed of around 65 knots. We're talking 100, 120 kilometers an hour to take off. It's off into the sky. It's up, it's away, and my goodness, it goes fast. You suddenly get that sense of something between a drone and an aeroplane. It's got its own sort of sense of size and speed and maneuverability. Off it goes over this extraordinary vista across the Black Sea here, and it will now carry out a series of maneuvers. The test flight is up, it's running, but it will maneuver in what's been described to me as a teardrop formation, a teardrop route, which gives an opportunity to the pilots to test out its banking left and right, its maneuverability, all the things that you would expect a drone like this to be able to do. The first of its kind. Never before has a cargo drone of this size seen its way into the skies. The challenge, of course, is to complete the test flight. It's not just about a takeoff. It's not just about a landing. It's staying in the air. It's proving its technical capabilities. And as it does so, just bear in mind, this could be a signal of what is to come in our futures. The idea of flying maybe emergency supplies from one side of a continent to another within a day. One thing is for sure, of course, the takeoff has been successful. The mission is underway, and it is therefore a moment of history already. Let's hope it continues on its route. Fascinating if you think about this. It was 240 years ago that the Montgolfier brothers launched the first balloon flight. It was 120 years ago the Wright brothers did the same thing. And now here we are, perhaps it's the power of three, the Bulgarian Rangelov brothers launching the Dronamics Black Swan, and possibly another chapter in aviation history. So as the Black Swan comes towards the close of this test flight mission, as the remote pilots conclude the tests that they've wanted to put this plane through, as well as all the technicians here, we await the landing. The remote pilots have taken the Black Swan through many different maneuvers. The technicians have seen what they need to see. It's now on its way back into the Baltic airstrip. As it comes in, keeping its balance, keeping level, coming closer to the ground, coming in fast now, touching down, decelerating very quickly, in fact, as it lands back.
All stations, the Black Swan has landed. We are now Black Swan 1. Yeah, baby!
Touchdown is made, landing is safe, mission accomplished. It is fair to say this is a moment of aviation history. An unmanned cargo drone has taken to the skies and returned safely, marking just the first step, but nonetheless the critical step en route towards regular commercial cargo flights around the world. Dronamics, the only company at this stage to have a European license to fly drones, to take cargo around the continent. The celebrations you can imagine, you can see it on the faces of the crew. And let's remember, for two brothers in particular, this is 9 long years of concept design, of sweat and tears, culminating in this successful test flight. I'm David Eads. You've been with me at Baltic Airport for a moment of aviation history.